Have you ever had a brilliant idea for making things better, only to watch it fizzle out? You're not alone. Today, we're going to break down why it's so incredibly hard to create real, lasting change. And more importantly, we're going to unpack a systematic blueprint that actually works.
I mean, we've all been there, right? You see a great plan, a passionate team, everyone's putting in the hours, and yet, a few months down the line, everything's right back where it started. It's so frustrating. But what if the problem isn't the idea itself, or even the effort? What if it's the approach?
And that's exactly it. It turns out that making a real impact isn't just about trying harder. It's about working smarter. You need a structured, methodical plan. Think of it like being an architect for change. Without a solid blueprint, you might end up fixing the wrong thing or building something nobody wants.
So, what is this system? Well, it's called the paths model. This is the exact kind of framework that professionals use to go from a fuzzy, messy problem to a clear, measurable solution. It's your roadmap to making a real impact.
PATHS is an acronym, and it lays out the 5 stages of the journey. First up is P for problem. You have to define the issue with razor-sharp precision. Then comes A for analysis, where you basically play detective and hunt for all the possible causes. Next is T for test, where you build a map of how everything is connected. Only then do you get to H for help, designing a smart solution. And finally, the all-important S for success. Did it actually work? It's a logical flow from diagnosis to treatment.
So, here's our game plan. We're going to walk through how to pinpoint the real problem, not just the symptoms. Then, we'll get into mapping out all the tangled causes behind it. After that, we'll look at how to design an intervention that has a real shot at working. And finally, we'll tackle that huge question: how do you know if you've succeeded?
All right, let's dive into stage 1. And let me tell you, everything, and I mean everything, hinges on getting this first part right. Because a vague problem will always lead to a vague solution, and that's just a recipe for failure. A good problem definition is way more than just a quick sentence. It's a solid, clear statement that spells out exactly what is going wrong, why it's a big deal, and who specifically is being affected. Nailing this from the start saves you from pouring time, energy, and money into solving the wrong issue.
So how do you get that precision? You have to answer these 5 key questions. 1, what is the problem in real, concrete terms? 2, why does it actually matter? What are the negative consequences? 3, who is this a problem for? 4, what do we think might be causing it? And 5, this one's crucial. Who is the specific group of people whose behavior we need to change?
Let's use an example to make this real. You could start with a vague problem like, teenagers are tired. That doesn't really help us, right? But if we use our questions, we get something way better. Teenagers are losing sleep because they're checking social media at night. The consequences are bad grades and health problems. It's a problem for the teens, their parents, and their teachers. And the target group for the change? The teenagers themselves. See? So much more powerful.
Okay, so we've got a really clear problem. Fantastic. Now we need to figure out why it's happening. This is where we get into the analysis and test phases, where we start to map out that whole complex web of causes. Because problems almost never have just one root cause.
The best tool for this is something called a process model. Now, don't let the technical name fool you. It's really just a flowchart, a visual map of your problem. It lets you see all the different pieces and, most importantly, how they're all connected to each other. Let's build one for our sleepy teenager problem. You always start with the end goal, what you want to achieve. That's your outcome variable, and you put it all the way over on the right side of the page. For us, the goal is simple: better sleep. Now we work backwards. What's the most immediate, direct thing that leads to better sleep? Well, it's pretty obvious. Less nighttime social media use. So we draw an arrow pointing from that behavior directly to our better sleep outcome. Simple enough.
But we can't stop there. We have to keep asking why. Why are they on social media so late? This is where we dig for the deeper psychological reasons. And 2 big ones immediately pop up. That classic fear of missing out, FOMO, and good old-fashioned peer pressure. These are the real engines driving the behavior. Now our map is starting to show the whole story.
Okay, now we have a map. It's time for the help stage. This is the exciting part, where we stop just understanding the problem and start actively doing something about it. It's time to design our intervention.
So, if you look at our map, we've got a few potential targets, right? We have FOMO, peer pressure, maybe even just a lack of knowledge about sleep. We can't possibly tackle all of them at once, so
How do you choose? Where should you focus your energy to get the biggest bang for your buck?
This is where a fantastic little tool called a balance table comes in. For every cause you've identified, you rate two things. First, its effect strength. How big of an impact does it have on the problem? And second, its modifiability. How easy is it for you to actually change it? As you can see, peer pressure is powerful, but it's super hard to change. Lack of knowledge is easy to change, but its impact might be kind of small. But look at FOMO. It has a high effect, and it's moderately changeable. Boom! That's our sweet spot. That looks like our best target.
So, once we've picked our target, let's say we're going after FOMO by trying to change social norms, we have to design the actual intervention. And here it is absolutely critical to understand the difference between the channel and the method. The channel is simply how you reach people, like putting up posters in school, but the method is what you're doing to their psychology. For example, the message on the poster could use social proof to show that, hey, most students don't use their phones late at night. That directly attacks the fear of missing out.
All right, we've designed and launched our intervention. The posters are up in the hallways. We're done, right? Not so fast. We've reached the final and, honestly, the most frequently skipped stage, success. We have to find out if any of this actually worked.
And there are two different kinds of evaluation we need to think about. First, there's the effect evaluation. This is the big one. Did the outcome change? Are teenagers actually getting more sleep? But there's also process evaluation. Did we do what we said we were going to do? Were the posters actually put up? Did students even notice them? Because if the process failed, you'll never know if your ideal was good or not.
And it's so important to remember this whole thing isn't a straight line. The PAFS model is a loop, it's iterative. What you learn in your evaluation might send you right back to the analysis stage to tweak your map. It's a constant cycle of learning, testing, and improving.
So, there you have it. That's the Architect's Guide to Real-World Change. It's a system, an evidence-based process that can take you all the way from a frustrating problem to a solution you can actually measure. You now have the map. The only question left is, what problem are you going to solve first?